Welcome to Nollywood Film Club podcast. I'm Mr. C Yaps Critic. I hope you're doing well today because we have a throwback for you. We have a fun conversation for you, and we have pushback for you all in today's discussion. And it's a short one. I'm not going to elongate this part, but I did enjoy this one. It's one of the movies I think is a major landmark in Nollywood history. I think it's probably birth new Nollywood. There's an argument for that, definitely. But I'm just going to leave you to enjoy Nollywood Film Club discussing the figurine. Anyway, but we did discuss Nollywood movies every Sunday. This we'll do the good, we'll discuss the good, we'll discuss the bad, and then we'll do a summary. This week we're discussing the figurine. So I'm sure Vanessa has thoughts.
Okay. Hi,
What did
Mrs.
you
C.
enjoy about? Why are you good with Mrs. C first? I called you up. I am the one you should be
No,
talking to
because you're
first.
the reason why I didn't get up north today instead of the
How
fish.
really?
It's all your fault. Um, the goods. I guess I don't know. Um, I kind of sort of liked how the film looked ish. Like it
Hmm,
was very brown, but I didn't mind that. Um,
I
I
agree.
didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. At least it wasn't orange until
Yeah, so this is Kunle Afolayan before he
yeah, it's
discovers
before
his
he
love for
discovered
orange
orange
and
until, and I quite liked the brown. I liked how a lot of it looked in some places. Like, was it the most technically perfect film? No, but I liked how some of it looked. A lot of the time, I did. Speaking of how things looked, for the first time, and this, I'm not a huge Funlola Wufiebi fan. We'll get there, but I liked how she looked in this. Like, you know how a lot of new Nollywood, when they say someone's a designer as profession in the
Hmm.
films or TV shows, you're looking at them and you're like, okay, a fashion show without fashions, how dreadful. Like this, she looked okay. Like it wasn't the most mind-breakingly gorgeous clothes, no, but for a Afrocentric fashion designer, like her clothes fit her well. The only time she didn't look like great to me, and it wasn't a problem because I could barely see it, was when she and Ramsey were in the club. It was like a bedazzled confection of something. So I didn't see it that well because it was the club wasn't the most well lit club. But then again, I didn't mind how the club looked because at least it wasn't foggy. Like, but 90% of the clothes she wore in this, I really liked. Like a lot of the Ankara dresses. There was this mono strap one. Like it fit her clothes fit really well and it makes sense that someone who is a designer has that. I like the fact that she had the turban. I mean, she was covering her head quite a bit for a while in Nolly, well, for a while. I don't know if religious reasons, personal reasons, I don't know, but for a while, because around that time was when she did uh something Celebrity Takes Two. It was like a dance competition, sort of like our own Dancing with the Stars, and
No way. We have one of
yeah, we had it. It
those.
ran for like about 3 seasons. Pasuma won one,
The
I
first
think.
one on the sexy was one.
Yeah, she was on the second one, and I think she won it. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think, and during that period, she covered her head quite a bit as well. So I didn't have a problem with her covering her head. But I also love the fact that like they matched her turbans to her outfit. I liked the blue one. I liked the black one. All I'm saying is I liked how she looked, and it made sense for her being a fashion designer. Um, was it the worst Funola Awufiebi performance I've ever seen? No, it's probably actually one of the few good ones. I quite liked it sometimes. What else did I like? Oh, what's her name? Mona, the actress. What's her actual name?
The money.
Omoni Oboli is just a sweet babe. You know, I'm quite
Hmm.
appreciative of beauty, and Omoni Oboli has just always and will forever be a sweet babe. Just fine.
Oh,
Fine pieces, fine like 20 people. I was just looking at her skin. I was like, God, how are you this beautiful? Like, it's actually unfair. But like Momoni is gorgeous. I liked a bit of like the early narrative. Okay. See, this is the thing when we do throwbacks, right? Because Nollywood has bastardized the art of narrating at the beginning of a film in recent years. And then this one wasn't bad. Like I didn't mind the beginning bit. Like the telling us who Ara Ramiro was and like the town. I didn't mind that early bit. I don't know.
Yeah, it felt like a folklore story. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, do you
once
get
upon.
like this is my thing, right? Like Nollywood has made it so horrendous now, but like back then, it was done very sparingly in very few movies, and it was like done in a very specific type of film, like these type of films that have like a folklore like angle to it, and you need that bit of introduction to get the story going. So it makes sense. So I liked the narration bit at the beginning. Um, what else did I like? Okay, so this is the bit where I go into my funny, funny, sarcastic bits because I don't consider them bad. They added to my enjoyment of the entire thing. I I enjoyed Kunle Afolayan as a bad boy. Granted, I was
I like it.
hungover
I like
and the excessive chewing gum really got to my ears, but like him bouncing around the place. This was it's- it made me so happy because you know Kunle Afolayan likes to put himself in a lot of his stuff, and
Yeah, but this is an actual lead
like
role.
exactly, I'd forgotten that this was the role. Like there was a bad boy, one was a nerd. I completely forgot. I haven't watched it in years, not since it first came out. So like I'd completely forgotten what it was about. And I was like, oh, he's a bad boy. What's that TikTok sound? You're a bad boy. Oh, I love it. I loved it so much. What else did I love? Oh, also, unironically, Femi. Femi, no. Why?
Oh my god. I don't understand whether he ran out of
I think he ran
energy
out of energy
maybe
at
by
that
then.
point because
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
sorry.
I
I
was
loved it. I
so
rewound that scene
constantly
like
on
3 times. I was
Vanessa, you've become a
I
problem.
rewound it
You
like
have
three
become a
times.
problem.
I was like, give it to me. And then I was blessed
It's
by
like
the
you like
gods
weather
because we
for
got
tea.
another Femi. No, please. From Fulola Wufiyemi in the study. And I was like, this film should have been called Femi. No.
Alright,
I
okay.
loved it. Also, I loved the twist. I don't care. Maybe it's because I'd forgotten what the film was about. Um, but like I saw it also. You know what I appreciate? I appreciate when you don't bring a twist out of nowhere that don't make sense to the storytelling. Do you get me? Like, I
I will fight you on this
no,
one.
keep quiet.
no, guys, didn't.
I will
Let me
fight you on
land.
this one.
Let me
We get
land. Am
there.
I saying it was the most wonderfully executed twist? No. But it made sense for the rest of the story. Like when you have like you know how we complain about how Nollywood doesn't set things up? Kuni
Mm,
actually set it up. Maybe it was very on the nose, like a very obvious wink, kind of like Funlola's winks at Omoni when they were introducing her to Ramsey. But even though it was like a very obvious wink, it was set up. From the beginning, it was set up that he was in love with Mona, like to an unnecessarily
mm,
obsessive degree. Like, it was very obvious to us that like that love was becoming one kind. It was obvious that he felt slighted by her choosing to marry Shola. It was set up. Let me not say it was set up to us. And then that scene where he says to his father, like even before he brings Funlola to his home and all of that, where his sister says, "Oh, Baba has been locked in that his studio, that blah blah blah." I was like, "Okay, studio artist and then he refuses to let Funola into the studio. I was like, okay, something's gonna go down. Mind you, I'm looking at this with fresh eyes now after having not watched this for decades. So forgive me. And then, you know, he goes and he tells his father, okay, Baba, I'll need you to continue to help me be making those artwork that I've been telling you to do for me. I will sell it to Amon Yibo. When he said I'm on a 5 and 6, my brain, that light bulb, my brain did turn on, it just on. The light bulb, just somebody pressed the switch. I was like, yeah, that's it. Motigate. So when he came back, when they did turning around at the end, and they're like, Femi is the villain. Femi lo sheba, Femi lo sheba, Femi lo shebo. And they open the sister box, they see multiple statue money. That's it. My brain do work. I'm quite intelligent. Yeah. No, like, see, I'm not taking this film seriously. I just want you people to know. Was it amazing for when it came out? Yes. But like now watching it back, like it's still good to a large extent. Like, but does it hold up the same way it did when it was first released? No, but I enjoyed it because I wasn't taking it seriously. Like I was like, when I said it was like, yes, his brother Femi that say I should be replacing the statue money, that's right. Because brother Femi is a bastard. Brother Femi is a sociopath. Brother Femi is an obsessive stalker. That's what Brother Femi is. I liked it. I'm sorry. Was the acting a little but I enjoyed it, guys. I had a good time. I had a really good time. Also,
You
I'm
should be
just gonna
thanking
end it
me.
with Femi, no, no, please.
Okay, leave here. You should be thanking me. Sounds like you enjoyed.
No, I would have enjoyed Up North more. It would have been a different kind of enjoyment for me.
All right. Okay. Fun fact: narration was done by Lagbaja,
That's why
according
I
to the film.
loved it. That's
Right.
why I loved it. I love Lagbaja.
All right. Best African actor, please tell us some things you loved about the figurine.
Good evening, Nollywood Film Club.
Hey.
Okay, so I'll just get straight to business. It's a really nice film. I loved it. I love it very much. So okay, first off, I love the story. I love the story so much. Where I have a thing for cultural, historical films and all that. So I love the story and I love the way it's played out and all that. Number two, I love the casting. Yeah, the casting was cool. I think that everybody fits their roles perfectly. Yeah, I love the casting. Number three, I love the resolution. I mean, the way they allowed the viewers to decide for themselves what they really think happened. Was it the cause that was playing out, or it was just one man's greed that caused them to lose all they have, almost all they had? Because, for example, now let's take a look at this film that we spoke about. Was it last Sunday or the Sunday before? Yahoo Plus. I think I was one that complained about how that I don't like the resolution, how they just said um blood money, Yahoo Plus does not exist. Like they just came straight. I was like, Yahoo Plus does not exist. If anybody tells you that they are doing Yahoo Plus, it is what do they call it? It is they are just selling human parts. I mean, I did not like that at all, because why? This is what people have believed for years, and then you cannot even come out and say you 100% know that this thing does not exist. So you only have an idea, and telling people that what you believe is true is the truth and it is the ultimate is actually very wrong for a film. But for this particular story, they allowed people to make the choice in their mind. When we first watched it in 2010 or thereabout, a lot of people were saying, okay, and they believe that it was the figurine that was at work. And some others said, I think I had about two or three people that said, no, they think that the figurine stuff is just folklore. And then what happened was because of the greed of the younger, was it Femi or Ramsey? No, let me just say Ramsey. No, I've forgotten the name of the character now. So I love the fact that they let people decide what they think are really happened. Number four, I love the character highlights. I mean, for someone like Kunle Afolayan now, they said he's a carefree person. And it was very obvious in the way he dressed. For example, look at where when he had the wedding at the court and all that. I mean, it's your wedding day and you are wearing a shirt. I mean, and you are folding the arms. Like I think he was even flying his polo or something. I can't really remember. I mean, that's really cool. It's not like okay telling us that this person is a carefree person and all that, and then you have him having everything set out right. So I like the way they followed the character highlight, and it was obvious in the way they dressed, the way they talk, the way they did things, and all that. The way he was even chewing gum and all that kind of stuff. Even when he was trying to get a job. I mean, you're trying to get a job, and then you are chewing gum in front of the person that is supposed to employ you. So that's that. And I think, yeah, I love the technicality of this particular scene. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, thank you. I love the technicality of the scene where they went to return the figurine. There's this 360 thing that they did, where they were talking and then the camera was going around them. I mean, that's very, very cool. I don't think I've seen that in any other Nollywood film. I'm not sure I've seen that kind of thing in any other Nollywood film. Like the
There are
camera
a
was
few
going,
times, but
huh?
definitely was it's been done a few times.
A
I'm
few times, right?
thinking, yeah, it was there even in Gangs of Lagos. When our people were fighting back to back.
Okay. I tried to remember, but this one kind of stuck to my memory anyway. So
Mm.
this one kind of stuck to my memory.
Back
I
then,
love
it
that.
was revolutionary. I think for us to do that in for Nollywood to do a shot like that. Yeah.
Mm. So and then finally, I love the switch of knowing or finding out who the real villain is. I mean, if anyone watched the film, the first couple of scenes or even the first 1 hour, you see Ramsino as the gentle, kind person, and then you see Kunle Afolayan as the tough, rugged, the tough guy. Okay, this is the villain and all that. But then at the end of the day, we find out that okay, something that even Kunle Afolayan probably doesn't even have in mind to do. This guy could do it, and so he's the real villain. I like that switch. I really, really loved it. So yeah, I think that's some of the things I loved about Alaro Miri, the figurine. Thank you guys.
All right, thanks, best African actor. I do have to say I do like the twist of Ramsey not being a good bloke all along is something I enjoy a lot. And I thought he did all right with it. Uh, is it Ahmad Adesoye that came next?
It's somebody.
I can be going.
All right, okay. Ahmad Adesoye, please go.
Okay. Hi everyone. So, what do I like about I think Araramiri is a very good movie for its time, and I don't know if this could piss anyone off, but I think some of the movies we have now would still not beat Araramiri because I the opening prologue, the own narration thing and the cinematography for that prologue, everything stood out. I was like, this is beautiful. The design, how those people looked like, the whole thing, the story, even though the narration was on the nose, but I still like the voice. Like I never looked at who did the narration actually, but I think I like Lagbaya's voice. And it's this movie is kind of it's what the everything people felt about it back then because it still looks different. Do you understand? It looks different, and I think I like the cinematography. Most of the cinematography, I like the characterization, especially Kunle's characterization. He performed well in this movie. Not like exceptionally well, but I think I like him as an actor. You know, um, Omoni Oboli is a very beautiful lady. She's beautiful. I was like, this lady is beautiful. Fumilola, is it Fumilola or Fumilola? Fumilola, I think she did very well in this movie. Not like exceptionally well, but she did very well. Um, I like her costuming, her characterization too. I like her characterization too. What else do I like? I like that this movie feels kind of traditional in a way and still feel modern. Do you understand? I like the look. I like the look. And what is that like? Uh, I'm trying to remember. I think I forgot something. I want to say something, but I forgot. I like most of the actors. I like most of the actors. I like the art design. Um, what else do I like? I think that's all. That's all I can remember. It's a good film for the time it was made. That's all I have to say.
All right. Thanks so much, do. All right. Enkanski, tell us some of the things you liked about the figurine. Enkans.
Oh, it's sorry. Apologies. Oh yeah. The movie was good. First of all, I kind of like the story. Maybe not like some part of the execution I don't necessarily like. But I think the story is very engaging, right? I like the fact that there is actual like characterization of the characters. Like people said, some of the things were not coming out of nowhere. Um yeah, like the story actually follows people, and it's kind of, yeah, nothing really comes out of nowhere for me. S- I also like Ramsey Noah's performance. I maybe I'm calling myself, but Ramsey Noah, like I know Ramsey Noah is good at this because when I watched him play Loverboy, that movie years ago when I was still younger. I think this is one of the reasons why, like, if I had to choose Ramsey Noah or Desmond Elliott, I was just like, Ramsey Noah is insane. I am a Desmond Elliott fan. So it was so good in that. So that's what, like, this is just to say Ramsey Noah really knows how to play the psychotic lover role. And there's so few actors in this world that can get it right and still look attractive. Ramsey Noah is one of those few. Um, I was still saying like I like the story. I think for the time the movie as like it's like I think it's basic, like it did basic what's it called, cameras movements and everything, and it works enough. The movie is entertaining and you won't feel sad watching it. Like you won't feel like you waste your time watching it. um it isn't necessarily really an horror movie. In many ways it's more like, I could say like a thriller or something, but it's not even a thriller. It's something there. So but I think it does mix the genre up well enough where it doesn't feel very jarring to people. um I like the art direction in the movie, and yeah, I like some of I like the characterization. I like the story. um I think Ramsuna performed very well, and I think a few actors do perform very well. I have an issue with maybe two at best. I have an issue with two. Some of the minor characters maybe were a little bit iffy, but um, yeah, it was. There's not really nothing bad I can really say about. Nothing too bad I can really say. Like the movie is serviceable. It's good. It's. I think it owed, well, not production wise as much. Actually, production wise, compared to some of the productions that I've seen recently, it actually holds up. The only thing is that it's very obvious that it was of its time. The technology that they have, it was very obvious that it's of the time that it shot in. But thinking about competency of just basic production and how to put cameras, how to put things, how to do this, that, it's so much better. It's so much better than most everything. But it's so obvious that it's the cameras that they were using, the techniques that they were using were of its time. So therefore, I think it holds up. If you're somebody who watches old movies and everything, look, I watch movies that were created 100 years ago, and I don't have any issue with it. So I think it holds up. Um, yeah, there's really It's a very good movie. Yeah, like you could enjoy it, you could have fun. Yes, were there some things that were funny, but I think it owes to the movie. In fact, like here's an example of like we know Ramsey Noah has like asthma, right? Even when they were doing the dusting, when they found the alarminic something, right? Ramsey was wheezing all throughout, and when he even when Shola took the figurine, I was blowing the dust. Ramsey Noah deep set out of it. Like that's actual thinking of what characters are supposed to do with their characterization that you've given them, right? And I don't see that in modern movies. I don't see that in modernly made movies. It's quite it's quite shocking. I was just like, wow, whoa. So for, of all the movies we've been watching, I will put this as part of production wise, not necessarily like with the modern technology. Like, yo, this is good. This is better. This is actually good. I'm not like, thank God I will watch this movie. I'm actually happy. I'm always happy, but I mean, like, this is actually good. This was a good week. I don't have that much bad things to say. The bad things I have to say, I will say it, but it's more of like typical bad things. It's not egregious, you know? I'm
Mm.
done.
All right. Thanks, Akons. Look, see, spreading happiness. There we go. Happy. Mrs. C.
Okay, so first off, Ara Ramirez is such an earworm. I think they were singing it, Ara Ramirez, in the background, and I haven't been able to stop saying it since we started watching yesterday.
I can testify to that.
So I know that's a good for me. That's been kind of fun.
It's a bad for me, but sure.
I'm sorry. Then what else did I like? I feel like, I mean, Femino notwithstanding, I think Kunle seemed quite comfortable in as what was the guy's name?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
Shola.
Shola. Yeah, Kunle seemed quite comfortable as Shola, which I don't know might be a bit concerning for his wife, but for the rest of us was entertaining. I think it was kind of nice to see NYC camp as well. PTSD notwithstanding, it just looked very much camp and familiar, which was nice. What else did I like? As soon as Ramsey got rid of his ridiculous hairpiece, he was serving beauty, which was great. Also, I think Ramsey did quite a bit of a decent job. What else did I like? I think we've talked about Omoni Oboli's beauty. Jesus Christ, that woman looks the same. 13 years later, looks the same. Can't say the same for the men, but she looks the same. What else did I like? You know what? Like I think mentioned, was it you, babe, that mentioned about the twist of Ramsey not being much of a good guy, being a good twist, and like it didn't even. I guess because I've seen it before,
Yeah.
right? Like the minute he brought out that ring, I was like, ugh, creep. Right? Because like I knew this wasn't his bib, right? I was like, ugh, this ring. No, you're being a creep. And then he had just such incel vibes throughout the whole thing. So, but yeah, I agree that the twist didn't come out of nowhere, regardless of how satisfying or unsatisfying they might have been, right? When of course his dad's an artist. He had someone to commission the carvings for him. And I'm like, oh, that's why he didn't let her go into his dad's workshop the other day. What else? Like the sister, being all weird and stuff. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so there were a few things that, things are not coming out of nowhere. You can understand how someone would be in a position to make them happen. So that was kind of nice. I did like the Ara Ramiro backstory, the village, that whole setup. That was also kind of nice. I enjoyed that. And yeah, I mean, like, it visually, yeah, we mentioned that was before Kunle's love of orange and teal. So not assaulted by orange and teal. That was kind of nice. And the story, I think for the most part, the story does kind of still hold up. And I don't think you're ever gonna watch it and go, why did they like this so much when it came out? Right? It's just, you're just never gonna think that. You're going to understand why it was loved and held up the way it was. Also, bonus points, Vanessa, you know how you mentioned how you liked the way the club looked? It looked like, I liked it too. It looked like the music video for Doomy, P Square.
Yes. Except Doomy was bright and had lots of light. Like it was Doomy if it was Doomy shot at nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I think everybody has said at least parts of the things that I liked. I think the acting generally is pretty good. It's difficult. This film was shot 14 years ago. It's difficult to understand how, like, technically ahead this movie was amongst its peers, because a lot of people shoot with similar with like sort of the same quality. I don't even think the cinematography is probably still, in terms of the shot types they choose, is as good. Yeah, some hiccups here and there, but it's just leagues above anything around the time. This is the birth of new Nollywood, and it absolutely deserves its flowers for that. Yeah, and when I see things like House of Secrets, I feel like House of Secrets is even sort of in the same vein, but without obviously the spiritual aspects attached to it. But I'm not even sure it's a better version of, or it's particularly that much better. Yeah, we've advanced in some of the visual stuff, but in terms of the story, so like for me, the twist, the reveal, doesn't work, and we'll come to that in a bit. But I can tell you that still up to that, there's still a film to be had. There's still a film to watch. There's still this film about two guys who came in, and one, like there's a love triangle thing going on in there. And then there's this thing about 7 years of good times and 7 years of bad times. I just remember the 7 years of good times, like the women will born boys. I genuinely was waiting for when they were saying the 7 years of bad times, them saying the women will born girls. That'd been funny. I'm sorry. But that is the that's the figurine speaking, is what I'm trying to say. Whatever. That's the figurine. But anyway, I do think that there is still a movie in there to be enjoyed. It's not just dependent on what's the mystery going to be, or what is. You're not watching because you don't understand what's happened the 5 minutes, and you're hoping the next 5 minutes explained what happened in the 5 minutes before. There's still a film in there, and there's still like good performances. It's funny, like I mentioned this the House of Secrets when Fumi's actually a linking something that links. But yes, the big difference for me is just that this film, even regardless of the way I feel about the twist, I still think has a movie I still enjoy in parts. It's funny, I think I've seen this film 3 times. The first time I watched it, I really liked it. I think it was closer to the time it came out. Second time I watched, it's like my eye had grown small, and I was like, "Wow, this film has a lot of technical flaws. It's not that great." And then the third time I watched it, I was like, "It's not actually, like I thought maybe the technical flaws they had was crazy bad. It's not that." About one thing, but it's not that bad. It really isn't. And yes, I appreciated it even more. And the story does shine through for me. But yes, I think this film absolutely deserves its place because I dare you to find anything of its scale that came out around that time. All right. Anyway, so that's the good stuff. Let's talk about the stuff that we didn't like. Vanessa, do you want to start?
Femi, no.
Oh, God. You said you like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know you guys were saying the acting wasn't that bad. I don't know what if we're watching or maybe I'm using fresh eyes.
From our leads,
Sorry now, no
from the main
vex.
people.
Even from your leads, Emma Binu.
Ah, okay.
I know if by using fresh eyes.
You cannot
I know
show
if by just
you
using.
cannot show them to Kunle.
I'm sorry,
This is
I
a
couldn't use nostalgic eyes to look at it. When
okay.
I saw Ramsey do that his ha 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 laugh in the studio, I was like, so this is where our Legba Tony Stark characterization came from. I legit just saw his character in the new living bondage.
This
Let's
I was like, that's where that's that's where Ramsey
okay.
got that. I was like, no, it's not giving. And it wasn't. I'm sorry, guys. I tried. Like the acting was as bad as his toupee in like the first half of the movie.
that's one thing I want to say. I was like, this is the best wig Kunle has done in all of his
I'm
movies.
sorry,
I It doesn't
no.
look great.
How did they get a
Okay.
toupee to have a
It does
bald?
not look,
Yes.
Yo,
but it's the best wig he's
hold
done
on,
Like
hold
by
on.
far.
as soon as they got rid of it, he just looked so much better.
How did they get the toupee to have the bald patches that Ramsey has now?
See,
People are saying to pay. I'm telling you, they caught some yaki and glued it on
That's
him.
exactly
yeah,
how they did it.
I think that's what because
Yeah,
like
like they
his
glued the
hairline
hair on
The
is
this and
periphery of
then
his
Bab
head,
the
Abby.
shit at the
yeah
kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah
that makes
his hairline was just like a semicircle.
I'm so
That's
sorry. I just
crazy.
couldn't. I couldn't. And I've never been a fan of Funola Awufiebi. I try not to speak so much on her because it would be like it's a personal vendetta against her, which I have not been accused of having against any actresses, I might add. But
Um,
I didn't like her acting in this either. Like it was so on the nose. I think that was what my issue was with a lot of the acting in this. It was very on the nose. While I enjoyed how on the nose um Kunle's bad boy portrayal was,
Mhm.
I just couldn't do it with the rest of them. Like the only person who didn't irk me with their performance was maybe Omoni, and maybe I was distracted by her beauty. But the rest of them, sorry, it wasn't giving. I'm so sorry. Also, the babe who played his sister, Lara, I've recognized her. I at first I was like, where do I know her from? Where do I know her from? She played one useless police officer in one of this African Magic
no,
360 show. And even in that African Magic 360 show, I wanted to strangle her. Because I was like, why are you so annoying? Like, why are you actually so annoying? And then I realized, oh yeah, I saw this and I was like, oh yeah, her acting has never been good from the my beginning. From the
yeah, there was
my, I was like, wow.
one scene where it was her and Fumi together. I was like,
Funola
oh no, this is giving me a data
It was
and
and
Sharon.
Sharon Nisha.
And Sharon.
Exactly. It literally was given that. It was like, who can out not act the other person?
Yeah, that was not my
It
favorite
wasn't
scene.
it
No.
wasn't great. It wasn't great. And it was supposed to be like this palpable, really important scene where she confesses. It's
Mm.
pivotal to the rest of the people in the film figuring out that Ramsey is the bad guy. And yeah, I wasn't buying what she was selling, what either of them were selling. I'm so sorry. I know you people. I have to go back to Ramsey. I love Ramsey. He's a beautiful man, but no, that scene from the restaurant, or was it wherever, where he brought her back to the home, and he's like, I don't want to go into the. Did he run his hand through his hair, or he put his hand on the back of his neck? It's because I want to take you to my bedroom. I was like, sorry, no, 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 take it back. I don't want it. I did not. It was horrendous.
No, what do you want? He jacked up.
No.
He jacked up like twice. It's like, all right, okay, we get it. You can
Exactly. I was like, it wasn't giving. Like, no. I tried. I really tried. I really tried to buy the performances, but I wasn't.
That was like, he's not a guy that was born with game, to be honest. He doesn't have game. He's really an incel at heart.
Even though, regardless of still. I think that was the only issue. Like, I didn't. When you think about it with this film, I'm sure other people will have an issue with things like sound. Oh yeah, the ADR was really kicking me out at some places, especially with Ramsey Nouah's ADR. I was like, sir, I can obviously tell that it's not matching your lips. Yeah, talking sound is coming from another place. I'm not really enjoying this. But like, I'm sure there are other technical issues. But like, the story holds up. I just, the acting just really didn't do it for me. I'm so sorry. It didn't. It really didn't do it for me. But there wasn't a lot bad with it, to be honest. It was a good how many hour watch. Also, it was short. I'm sorry. I appreciate the length. I know this is the bad, but Nigerians keep things short. Thank you.
All right. Now, I mean, speaking of some goods that we may have forgotten, I appreciate it also. I mean, I think I kind of spoke to this, but in terms of how important this film and like the birth of, like, if you go check the people who worked on this film, they've, a lot of them have become like huge, more I'm not saying like this film taught to them all they knew or anything like that, but Yinka Edwards, Pat Nebo, I think he was consulted. Even Oge Obasi, they all worked on this, and these are people who have become like big things in their own rights, doing their own things. Like they're now like, if you're in the industry, you should know these people, kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, they all worked here. All right.
Can I say a good miss?
Sure.
Just that it felt, half of it felt like a Yoruba film, and the other half felt like Nollywood film, which was a very fun mix for me.
I can imagine, because like if you go back to 2009, new Nollywood hasn't been born. And so Kunle is probably coming from Yoruba film and trying to transition into something slightly different. All right. Omar, did you want to tell us some of the things you did not like about this film?
I think best African actor for me.
Is not on the stage right now. So
okay. Sorry, saying this movie felt like a Yoruba movie. I think maybe because they were speaking about most of the time. That's why you feel like that. But I think it doesn't feel like a Yoruba movie. Like someone who has watched Yoruba movie since I was a kid. So this movie doesn't feel like a Yoruba movie.
It's not the whole of it, though. It's part of it.
Part of it. Like that office scene, for instance, where he was doing that first interview, right? That was giving Yoruba film, and he wasn't even speaking Yoruba in that scene, was he?
No, it was in English.
It was in English.
Professor, there's some professors, like language professors, and they kind of act, Yoruba culture of being, saying someone is rude, kind of. Well, I won't argue that actually. So, what would I
disagree how you like, Sha, but like if you think about again where this sits in terms of Nollywood history, there isn't a new Nollywood from it, and like Kunle has been doing Yoruba film, so it's not crazy that some of it would feel like a Yoruba film. It's a very benign statement to make, and it's an interesting one.
But I'm just I didn't get the feel of Yoruba movie because
okay.
Okay, what are eight? Okay, let me talk about the acting. Ramsey's sister, the little played Ramsey's sister. I think I hate her acting. At first, I thought that I went to check if that was Fibressima Binabo because I was like, who else would have like Fibressima Binabo in the movie? They kind of look alike at the point, and I went to I wanted to confirm if she was the one because that performance was not given at all. And yeah, Ramsey's performance at some point, maybe because of the Yoruba, I don't know. I thought because of the way he was speaking Yoruba, but people saying that the performance wasn't all that. I kind of like confirm my feeling about it because it was not that good actually, but not bad. Um, I kind of like Fumi's performance in this one. Funlola's, sorry. I kind of like her performance in this one because her accent wasn't like the one we know, kind of. So it was still a bit okay then. So I kind of like her performance in this one. Um oh, sorry, I'm saying like instead of saying dislike, sorry. Um the writing, I think at the point I felt like a whole lot is happening in this movie. The whole love triangle thing. I think I felt like a whole lot is happening in this movie. And I don't know why um Femi would agree to date Linda. Funlola is Linda. I don't know why Femi would agree to date Linda if he still had interest in Mona. So I kind of like, why was that necessary? Does it add anything to this movie? Does that plot add anything to this movie? So I feel like a whole lot was happening, and the twist, it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. I don't know how it worked for you guys, but the twist didn't work for me because if you are saying the whole thing, the whole maybe they are trying to tell us that two things could happen, that there could be two truths, that Femi being the villain and the whole the whole mystery about Araromire is real. So I kind of like, I don't find it how would I say this? I didn't enjoy it, the whole twist. I think they could still make him the villain, but not like him setting up the whole thing. When he said if that thing worked, that you would be my wife and that your son would be mine, I feel like that thing could have just worked for him, you know. The whole everything just come to pass, and kind of, but him being the villain, him setting up his sister to put this thing there, make more, and like, I don't know, I was confused, and the dialogue is kind of over the nose. I mean, is it over the, I mean, on the nose, sorry. I want this over the top at the point, sorry. The dialogue was kind of on the nose at a few times, not a few times, many times. That I was like, they were talking as if they wanted us to know that, okay, this is where we are going. This is what we want to do next. I was like, can you just make these people feel like, talk like people, talk about other things, especially that scene where he came home and his father was sick and he was saying he's going to Araromire for, you know, I felt like they couldn't have told us they were going to Araromire, and the old professor telling Shola about Araromire, kind of like, okay, why are you not telling us what would happen? Because we already know that Shola will steal that thing. He's seeing him as this bad guy, and someone talking about fortune, and he would go to Araromire and steal that thing. So I kind of didn't understand. I mean, I didn't like how the dialogue was, on the nose. And about the NYC thing, I think people, when you are posted for NYC, you're posted to the state, not the town. So I didn't know. I was kind of confused if Araromire was a state or a town or maybe local government in that state. So I was kind of confused. They were saying, oh, they posted me to Araromire. They posted me to Araromire. You know, it was like they were telling us what would happen. They were like preparing us. Okay, this is where we are going. This is where we are going. This is where we are going. And the whole NYC thing, it was kind of wrought in a bit, kind of. So I think the writing is my issue with this movie. At the end, I'm still confused about the end. Actually, well, I don't know. Maybe the whole twist thing. So the writing is the only issue I have with this movie. Every other thing is good. I think it's a good movie for the time it was made. And even if it was now, it still be a good movie. It still beat other movies we have now. So that's all I have to say.
All right. Thanks so much, Judy. I think I can't wait for us to discuss that ending. I think it's possible a few of us on a different, both on different understandings and maybe different interpretations of that end. All right. But Ankons, do you want to tell us the few bad things you said you have with them? Ankons, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Apologies. I have to open my phone. Sorry.
All right.
So, um, bad things. I think. Okay. I'm gonna first start with the acting. I don't know. Yes. It might feel like I'm picking on her, but I'm not. I think she's better in this movie. Miss Fumilola. I don't know the rest of her name. F. So I've seen her name as F something something something. Um, yeah, she's better in this movie, and it seems that she does do. I don't look. I have no issue with something being on the nose. It's okay with me. Sometimes it's okay with me. Sometimes it's not okay with me. But this one, I had no issue with it. But like, there were sometimes some of the choices that she chose were a little bit. It's not necessarily on the nose. It is pantomiming. I think I should call it pantomiming. Like it's satirical. It's like an exaggeration. It's like a funny. It's a cartoonish exaggeration. Like when they were introducing her to Femi, why are you winking? Why are you winking? This is not an over the top movie where you're supposed to act over the top. You know, it's off. That's not necessarily on the nose. That's more pantomiming for me. Like the who else? Some parts of the performance of the director, Kunle Afolayan. Yes. Some of his delivery of the lines were awkward. Were just off. It was off. It was very, very off. But as he got into, I think in the beginning of the movie, there was some like awkwardness of it. And at the end of the movie, there was some awkwardness of the delivery of the line. And maybe he should have just reacted that. That should have been a reshoot. They should have reshoot those scenes or something. Somebody should have told him that delivery was not good. Um, Yeah, so that's with acting. The sister, I think she performed okay. Like she performed that function. I don't think there were some parts, yeah, some parts when they were talking, yeah, it slipped into her like her acting wasn't up there, but like I just thought she was just for me, you have to be really, really ridiculous for me to say something about acting. Like I don't go on actors. Like I'm like, so far you perform your function, it's okay. So yeah. The rest of it, think it was okay. Think I as the movie went in, Kunle Afolayan playing the bad boy, playing the sort of like carefree, and some of the characterizations that is not necessarily just about acting, also how they dress them, what the something. It I fully bought into it. Ramsey Noah's earpiece, yes, was definitely an issue, as everybody did say. But like, it dull is beauty. I think that was the purpose. I think that was done purposeful because when we see him 7 years later, it became the Ramsey Noah that we all know, and we all had crush on. Or for me, knew that okay, there are some crazy boys out there, and be very, very careful. they can be serial killer something. Even though they are so handsome, they will blind you. So I think that was done purposely. Therefore, I'm not going to say it's a bad. Some execution of it, like what was it? Yeah, the ending part where he was supposed to kill Shola, the delivery was off. The raining, the something. I don't think. I think there should have been something more to jazz up that scene, because it's a big scene. There should have been more to jazz it up. Yet, the scene where Fumi and the sister was talking, there should have been more to jazz it up a little bit more, right? To make it a little bit more. Maybe they could do some flashbacks. Maybe they could do something just to jazz it up, make it more impactful. You know, uh some of the execution was not right. Yes, some of the EDR was there, but it's 2009, whatever. Yeah, what? Mhm. Mm. There were sometimes I think they should have been close up, or there should have been different shots or for different things for on the actors or on the scene to make it more impactful. So those are just like choices of decisions of like how to arrange the scene, what we're going to see, and all that stuff that I felt like they should have done a little bit better. Um, I didn't particularly have any problem with the twist. I also kind of I'm okay with the fact that it is saying there's a possibility for both. And I think that it executed it well enough for me to buy that there's a possibility for both. For like they both are doing it, and sometimes coincidences happen. Except
So,
for except for one tiny thing. I don't know why the son had to die. I don't know why she had to lose her baby. You know? If that just swings it a little bit more to the supernatural side for me. But then again, that's my own interpretation. Whatever. Uh, yeah, sound. A little bit more like maybe changing of locations to make it more to make the screen a little bit more variety. And I feel like they should have borrowed a little. They should have added a little bit more of an horror cinema languages than they did. They should add a little bit more eeriness. There should be a little bit more eeriness, a little bit more of it. It was very sparse. It was very sparse. So that's one thing I kind of hope that they did a little bit more of. You know? That I this movie I don't have much to complain about except for like creative choices. Eh. That's it.
all right, thanks, guys. Best African actor. Did you have stuff you did not like?
Yeah, I have a couple of things that I don't really appreciate about the film. Yeah, I think before I go on, I want to talk about Omodudu said he was talking about Araromire. I think Araromire is a camp. That is why they were mentioning it, because it's not. Yeah, it's definitely not a state, and I don't think they can know where they've posted them until they get to the camp and then they do the order posting to the exact place. So I guess probably Araromire is a camp. I think every state has their own camp. So probably that's why they are naming the place by the camp and not necessarily the name of the state. That's just what I think. So back to what I don't like about the film. The Yoruba spoken by Femi and his sister was too bad. Ramsinoa's Yoruba was too poor. And I think that making them Yoruba people, maybe wasn't necessary if they can't speak the language perfectly. And the language was too poor. The few times that he spoke that Yoruba, I was just like, bro, this is definitely not Yoruba that you're speaking. I mean, we all heard Shola speak Yoruba now, and it was so cool. Like, okay, this is Yoruba, but then when Femi is speaking his own Yoruba and his sister too, it was too bad. I think a lot of people have complained in Nollywood Film Club about how that they are speaking Igbo language and it is very bad. So I think maybe I'll be the first person that will complain about Yoruba language being spoken and it doesn't sound like Yoruba at all. So maybe I don't think there's anything that was important about them being Yoruba people. So maybe they should have just made them Igbo or any language that they can speak well, and they can just even speak English throughout, and nobody will have problem with that. So the Yoruba was too bad. I didn't like it at all. And then I noticed something. Shola turning to an abusive partner all of a sudden was kind of strange. I mean, he dragged his wife all the way from upstairs down to the beach just because he wanted to prove a point. I mean, there was never okay. Shola is a very hard guy, you know. He's a kind of person that you think that maybe he has this villain. He was giving this villain vibes, but there was never at any point where he was abusive to the girl when they were dating, when they were couples, when they were younger. So him turning to an abusive person like that all of a sudden, like out of the blues, it was strange to me actually. I did not get it. I don't think I don't get it. I know it was at the heat of the moment and all that, but then people don't just change to what they are not because I don't know. I just didn't get that part. And also, yes, I don't know if any other person noticed this. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
I don't know if you guys noticed this. In the beginning, yeah, when Shola went back to school, that they should sign his clearance form that he wants to go for NYSC. The man was saying, I know you are Shola. You used to date Mona like it was a past tense. Please follow me. Oh. You used to date Mona like it was a past tense, like they were no longer together. Okay. When Shola that's one. When Shola got to the camp and he met Femi on the road, Femi was like, do you know that Mona is also in this same camp? And he was like, yeah. And that for control now. I mean, that doesn't stop anything. There was this kind of awkwardness in their conversation that made it look like both of them were not together anymore, or they had a fight or something like that. And the next thing that we saw was Mona was pregnant for Shola. I mean, it was kind of confusing to me. Like someone saying, I know you used to date Mona, not that you are dating Mona. You used to date Mona. And then he got to the camp and he was talking with his friend, and his friend was like, do you know that Mona is in this camp? I mean, maybe you only say that when you just broke up with somebody and they're like, do you know that I've been in this camp is going to be awkward for both of you? So that was the vibe that I was getting from them in the beginning. And all of a sudden, we saw them. Then she was pregnant for him. They were planning to get married. I mean, it was kind of confusing for me. I don't know. Maybe I was the only one that noticed that. So that's a few things I have to say that I don't like about the film. Thank you.
All right. No, I think it's best African actor. I think that was probably just maybe set up as a Ramsey to think there's an in, or for us to at least think Ramsey has an in with her. And like people break up and they don't break up and they go back and they go back together. It could be also maybe
the state of their relationship was kind of ambiguous to us.
It also could be that he saw her with some babe and he was like, oh, I guess he saw Shola with some babe and was like, I guess that one's over. That's in the past. Oh, but
or it could also be the Nigerianism of saying used to for something that's not in the past.
Yeah, who knows? All right, okay. Mr. C, what stuff did you not
like? Okay, so what did I not like? I've forgotten the name now. Is it Falola? So yeah, I don't think I noticed or her acting grated me as much in Tinsel because, well, her character in Tinsel was supposed to be quite annoying. So speaking like that was fine. But yeah, her acting wasn't as bad in Figurine as it was in House of Secrets. But oh my God, every time the extraness came out, it was grating. It didn't feel like a real person. What else? Yeah, I think we've mentioned Ramsey's sister's acting. It was poor. Very pretty girl, but the acting was really poor. I don't understand the choice of a beach house. Them living in a beach house, that kind of beach house, it just didn't feel like somebody's real life. And I don't know. I don't think that should matter that much, but it took me out of it a little bit. I think, or it looks to me like it was a choice made to keep everything looking like if you see the throwback bit, the old story, the thatch and wood that made up the shrine and that kind of villagey feel and that kind of feel in the professor's office. I think the choice of those beach houses was to keep it in that kind of thatchy, woody kind of theme. But then it seemed more like a holiday location than someone's house, which took me out. Not to say that, people don't have beach houses, but it didn't feel real. Also the son's death, like, okay, he jumped from like the first floor into sand. Unless he fell on a knife or something. I don't understand how he died, but sure. Yeah, like just Ramsey's motivations, unless we just say he's just unwell, right? Mentally, and we call it a day. Because it's, how do I break this couple up? And if this was like a perfectly happy marriage, he was a perfect husband, I'd be like, all right, you know what? Maybe I can get capitalizing on some potentially supernatural stuff to try and break them up. But no, this guy cheats. You have evidence, right? You don't want to use the cheating as an in. You don't want to use that as a way to try and start, making her think she deserves better. You've gone straight to supernatural stuff. It was just kind of a wild card, that one.
It reminds me of House of Secrets. That's like,
it's just like, let's
I need to do a thing. Let's just do the most convoluted plan to.
And I think it's fine for there to be ambiguity and, like, is it mirror? Is it this? But I don't know. I enjoyed the idea of the goddess, giving them their 7 years of their 7 shit years after the 7 years of plenty. I think I would have enjoyed the supernatural aspect to it played up a bit more than Ramsey's character scheming. But yeah, I think, besides, like, I'm going to let Mr. C tell you all of the technical problems. But yeah, story-wise, I just, Ramsey's character's motivations were just not really giving. Character choices were a bit so-so, and just, the acting by Funlola and that other babe, no. And then obviously there were moments where Ramsey and Kunle and Co were not really giving as much with their acting as well. Yeah, that's about it for me.
All right, so technical stuff. All right, so there's something I'm not even going to bother talking about because I'm not here to nitpick a film that was made 14 years ago, quote unquote nitpick. But this film was out of focus for like a decent majority of the time. There were, I think, whole scenes where it was just not in focus, and I was just wondering, what's going on. And there was a point where Ramsey starts getting woozy, and I don't know whether his vision got blurry or it was the focus doing its thing, but I was like, there we go. Like, this is our vision of the film so far. But yeah, there were too many shots that were out of focus, which, maybe it is what it is. Yinka Edward shot this. Someone who did the trade, I think he did the trade, right? Shot the trade, which I thought was, for me, is best cinematography of the year, of the things we've discussed. But in this, it's like his hand is not strong yet. The camera is always on things that keep on shaking, and some movements are just not smooth. A lot of times the cameras are just like having Parkinson's for whatever reason. All right. But yeah, generally, and sound issues people have spoken about. Now, there's a thing I would have mentioned in the good, if not essentially the end, which we will all talk about in a bit. But this film wants to do, hey, Juju isn't that bad. Juju is not bad. Embrace your Juju thing. And I think we did Lost Okoroshi not too long ago, and I think it was Atas who was saying that, you know, might be one of the first films to really embrace like our masquerade culture. And you know, this maybe 2009 was still too early for it, and maybe this was progressive back then to even suggest that we shouldn't um demonize our this thing, but it does. The message is still, hey, maybe the figurine, our thing is the juju that is, I mean, like, even regardless of whether you believe the figurine did all cause all the harm. I mean, we do start with a story where it's like, yes, I guess it does do 7 years of good things, so maybe it's not a bad on the whole, but like it does sound like a, yeah, it sounds like a monkey paw situation.
Priest.
Huh?
Around Ramirez.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, how do you kill your priest? That
yeah. Okay, so like it wants to say, yeah, don't be afraid of our things, and then it sort of makes you afraid of things. Well, at least that's what it feels like. The motive of the film is like, it at least makes you question, ooh, the figurine, should you even have such a thing in, I mean, like, wouldn't you be, I mean, back then, wouldn't you be more careful about it? But yeah, that's trying to, yeah, that I didn't particularly like about the film. So like a lot of and some people have pointed this out, the story is the writing in specific scenes. Now I can actually get past, I can actually understand what almost every scene is saying, and I like, okay, there's some things I just go, okay, I get it, I understand what you're trying to do here, but the way it is executed is it's just, it felt like they had 20 seconds. It's like, okay, so we want this guy to apply for this job and not get it. Yeah, we have 20 seconds to come up with the lines, and the dialogue between it is just so shallow, and it feels like so first draft of the kind of thing somebody would do. There's one time, like, Ramsey Noah says something like, I've never been rejected like this before. I was thinking, how they reject you for this interview, my G? Did the guy just tell you, fuck you, you're not getting the job or what? I understand. But yeah, for me, the twist is problematic. Not problematic. It seemed like it too convoluted a thing. It's like, all these people always making crazy plans. Also, like, I don't know, it seemed like what happened, Ramsey ends up killing him, like, not himself. He didn't mean to kill himself. He died of asthma, right? But he killed this Shola, right? He killed Kunle's character. I'm like, if you wanted to do that, just do that, and save us all this time.
It's different when you kill him in the bush.
Why is it different when you kill him in the bush?
Because how are they going to find his body in Araramire and bring him all the way back here? And it's logistics. You kill the man in his house, his wife sees the body, she screams, they call police. You kill him in the shrine of Araramire. Take a few days before they get to him. Maybe it rains, maybe it doesn't. It's easier to get away with. Trust me on this.
Well, take him to the bush and kill him.
It's to say that Alaromire killed him, because if he has set up the idea of, like, there is a supernatural thing that is coming after them, and they went to a shrine and then he dies, they would say it's a supernatural cause.
You're including what I'm criticizing within the answer. I'm saying there's no need to do all of that whole thing. There's no need for the angle. There's a simpler method of just killing him without, because, like, it's quite, he gets his father to make, like, a lot of these things, and like, he has to, the plan has to rely on them falling out as well as a result, which is kind of crazy. It has to.
But the reason is, the thing is that It's when she remember there's the scene where she said where it goes off and says it will be something. But they originally were sitting down there. She was telling him, Mona was the one telling him. Mona was already feeling somehow about that thing, and Mona went to tell him about how he was already feeling somehow about that thing, right? And she was like, "Oh, it's going to be 7 years or something. This is da, 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 da." And then he's like telling her like, originally in that something, he didn't have no plan to do anything, right? It was telling her that, oh well, it doesn't make any sense because if that thing actually work, you
You're
will be
just
mine,
you're
the
just
child will
giving
be mine.
motivation to what I think is the bad plan. Is the Yeah, I'm saying he shouldn't come up with that plan anyway because it's convoluted. My boy, I'm not saying I
And
don't see where it's packed in his brain. I'm just saying like it's kind of a ridiculous plan to come up with
it's the
when
movies. They have ridiculous plan. What's the name?
yeah,
Batman. It's the movies. The plans in movies are always ridiculous.
that's not
They
true.
have.
Not the ones I enjoy. The ones I enjoy have
Did you enjoy Batman Dark Knight?
the
Did you
Dark
enjoy
Knight. Yes,
Did you
yes.
enjoy the Dark Knight?
Okay, yes,
The
I enjoyed the
Joker's
Dark Knight.
plans
But
is
like,
overly convoluted. There was so
no, no,
many.
no.
There's so many points of
Okay,
like
all right.
of miss something. A lot of the movies that probably you enjoy, the plans are always convoluted.
The Dark Knight does have some things where
All of
you
the plan is
take my weight.
convoluted.
Yeah. No, don't worry, I'll get there. You're talking to a Dark Knight expert now. The
I'm
Dark Knight
telling
does
you, all of the plan is
good.
convoluted. All of the plan is convoluted.
Calm down,
There's
we
so many. As a
calm
logistic person,
down,
there's a lot of things to
calm
get
down.
wrong.
I haven't said the plans aren't convoluted in the Dark Knight. There are a couple of things. Um, um, Number one is that the Dark Knight is really good despite all of the plans. The plans aren't the point of the Dark Knight, right? The point of this movie, this movie does not work without this. And also, in the Dark Knight, what the film does right off the bat is establish that the Joker is smart, right? That he gets a gang of people to do a heist, and then he tells this person to kill this person. He splits them into into groups, and he keeps on getting one of them to kill each other, and then he ends up killing one person and taking all of the money and doing almost none of the work. Right? That's him. That's the film establishing him as a very clever person. Right? So there's some things where I don't know how he planned it. Right? But the film has established, oh, he's really clever. Maybe you don't think about it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying they're not convoluted. And if anybody has issues with any part of this plan, it's fine. But it's not the point of the movie. None of his plans are the point of the movie. The movie is just fun in a lot of set pieces and stuff and the fun fight between the Joker being chaotic and Batman's rigid distance from this. It's not the point of the movie. This movie, the whole movie is the figurine is the plan, right? So that's the big difference.
Okay, I get it. The reason why it works for me is that human beings make stupid plans. Like they've already made it that this guy is desperately in love with this woman. This woman is not leaving a guy that is obviously cheating on her. And they said that, oh, she's been cheating on him and she's still staying. She's still staying. He's desperate. And he has she comes to him with this idea, with this story. And being a guy who just wants to only have him, have her, he comes up with this convoluted plan. For me, it's more believable his plan than the one in Dark Knight, because the Dark Knight includes having so much more people. It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy plan, which is like, no, that's a lot of something. I still enjoy the Dark Knight. I release my disbelief in it, but it's no. Why should they all shoot themselves and then you get the money? No, that's not how it works in real life. They would just probably try to do something else. Now, you're working with more people. People have their own individual something. That it's not,
Are you
but
saying
for this
you
one,
can't get the
for
criminals
this one,
to-
for this one, it's believable for me because there's less people, and the person that is doing is the person that gets to the person for his
Come
plan.
on,
Well,
come
first of
on.
all, it's not believable for me anyway. But to do his plan is because is his sister, And the
No,
sister
no, but
has
like
something to
his
gain.
plan is for the marriage to break up, right?
Yeah, and the sister also has something to gain because the sister wants to get revenge.
You-
So it's
you-
like, even though it's
okay,
convoluted,
wait.
I'm not saying it's not convoluted. I'm just saying it's believable that this person, with their desperation, will come up with a convoluted plan.
Okay, I
And
don't care about why they come up with a convoluted
a
plan. It's
convoluted
because
plan has
the point is why he comes up with a convoluted plan. The
it comes
convoluted
up with
plan.
that convoluted plan because for it, I feel like it's believable of why it will come up because people have come up with convoluted plans in history. It's believable for him.
Okay,
They have, and
all right.
convoluted plans rarely work out, but it's believable for why he will come up with that convoluted plan. He wants her. She is not leaving this guy. I know you said the cheating, like, oh, we can, but she's not leaving him. He has been cheating on her since they started dating, and she knows it. Everybody kind of knows it, and she's not leaving him. So she's not going to go like, oh, no, 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 he's done that. He's done that. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to be there for you, person. And he's done. He's done it. We see him be the person that was there for. But still, she chose the guy. So for him, it is believable that he believes that, okay, since she already believes this thing, she's going to blame him. The husband who refuses to like throw this thing out, or the husband who brings this thing out, so she's going to blame him. So he's going to have those things there. It's not that the plan is going to work. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that like the plan was going to work, but it's believable that people can believe that their stupid plans would work. It's believable why you can believe that this guy will believe in this stupid plan to work, even though everybody else can see that it probably would not work. It's believable to believe why he would do it. And I'm not saying it's going to work. There's a difference between like, is it going to
But it
work,
did.
or is there
But
like
it
a
did.
motivation for him? But like that's what I
It did
think.
work though, right?
It's desperate. The guy is desperate. He
I'm saying, but
desperately
the
wants her,
plan
and he's
worked.
insane. He clearly is insane, and he will tell himself that this is going to work. He tells himself that this is going to work, and he does it. He ropes in
No,
his he
you're
lies to
not
his father.
following.
He lies to
You're
his
not
father, and he
saying my
ropes in his
pushback
sister who
anymore.
has a reason to do it with him. The sister has a reason. The sister wants a revenge against the guy. So it makes sense for him to do those things. He lies to his father. His father doesn't have a reason. He lies to his father that he's selling it abroad. So it makes more sense than even the Black Knight, than the Dark Knight. It makes more sense for why these things happens, because there's fewer people there and the motivations for each person kind of plays for me.
All right. Okay. This is why I don't actually usually pick you. This is why I knew it. I knew it. You defend the figure and you attack the Dark Knight. How can I be picking you? I knew there was reasons
No,
to.
no, 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 no. I am so sorry. I have seen a lot of videos, people praising the Joker, like it's going to these plans can work very well in real life, and I'm like, no, because there's multiple
No.
points of something. It
Okay. I
doesn't make
thought
no
that
sense.
was a joke.
It's a movie. Just put it as a movie and enjoy it.
Because that was a joke. I wasn't trying to open this thing up again. I was actually trying to close it. All right. Okay. Let's relax. Let's do summaries. Except Nache, does anybody else have other things to say about the plans? The other things, um, the that any pushback? All right. Let's do summaries. Vanessa.
Baby, no.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, I feel like Femi. No, no. Why is the perfect summary for this film? Because at the end of the day, Femi, why? Why? I'm sorry. I don't know. I feel a migraine coming, and I know you can't just whatever. Um, it's a good film. Holds up better than I thought it would over 14 years of being since it was made. Um, was it the most technically perfect film? No. There are a lot of issues. Sound wasn't great, but it sound great now. So apples and oranges, really. Um, yeah, I liked it. I liked it. I liked it. And Femi, no.
All right. Okay, Vanessa, no. Best African actor. To give a summary.
Yeah, I love Kunle Afolayan works, and this is one of the films that actually introduced me to him. Although I think I've seen one or two that I produced before this one, but this is like one of the ones that made me say, "Oh, okay, I think this is one of African directors that is worth following." So the film is cool. The film is very cool, and I think I would actually recommend this film for anyone that wants to know the history of how new Nollywood came about. Yeah, and I think it's very obvious why almost everyone in the industry holds this film in high esteem. For those that do, why they hold this film in high esteem, it actually was one of the major films that led to the what's it called of new Nollywood, because everyone tried to keep up after the release of this film. So I like the film. It has some issues which I believe that probably would have been worked on if it was done now. But I think I love when it came out, and I love the film. I love the story. I love the casting, and yes, I would recommend it. I would. I definitely would.
All right, no, thank you. Omar, did you please give us your summary?
Um, I think I love this movie. Not love. Don't let me do too much. I like it. Sorry, I'm eating. I like it, and it still, it still feels good. Something that I would recommend for someone to watch as a Nollywood movie. Even though we are confused, but I think their intention was like to do something that the audience would be confused, or the audience would question themselves, like, okay, what's going on, why this happened, because I felt like they shouldn't have done that part where Fundola was asking Ramsey Noah that, okay, how about this, how about this. They could have just you know left us in the dark. They should have kept us in the dark, and we should figure it out on our own. So I think it's okay. It's an okay movie that I would recommend any day, anytime.
All right, thanks so much. And you guys.
Eventually, you have to talk to me, no matter how much you want me.
Day one, no worries, all the time.
Sorry, sorry. Sorry. The Dark Knight thing gets me sometimes, and I actually like the movie. Um, the movie is good. I think it is good. I think it has some bad acting, but it is. There's no movie without its flaws. But um, I generally will recommend it. With the caveat that okay, it's a 2009 Nigerian movie. Take that, but generally, I think people will enjoy it more than they will not enjoy it. And I also always say, movies are meant for one thing. You sit down after you go to work, or you didn't go to work, or you want to enjoy yourself. Sit down, give it 20 minutes. If you don't like it, there are lots of movies in this world. Just change it to the next one. Simple. You are free to watch it. You are not free to watch it. It's okay. That's it.
All right, thanks, Inka. Mrs. C.
Uh, I I would recommend this film with caveats that you should manage your expectations and remember it was made by Nollywood in 2009. But yeah, it was a bit of a Nollywood what I don't know what word for it. My brain's not working, but it's part of a decent part of Nollywood history. And yeah, I'd recommend it on those grounds with manage your expectations and enjoy it because I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't know how much we've moved from this level of production, to be honest,
Of course.
and that is a I don't know. That's a testament to how well this movie has held up, and that's the testament how much effort was put in. And I think again, it's easy. It can be easy to forget, like if nobody was doing this to this level back then, the risk, the effort, the amount of people you would have had to Amadou, I didn't call you. Okay, you go after me. Oh, okay, yeah. He has.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, yes, the effort, the time, the passion, just the things he needed to have done to get this movie done. And like, I think this is definitely, for me, even in the conversation of movie with the directed and starred in but in Nollywood as best still. So I think this is a film to be very much respected. I do have my issues with it, but like, given its context, geez, like it has my respect, definitely. All right. What do you want to say? Your hand is up. Where's your hand up?
Sorry for coming back. This is not summary, but I think I would say we've not gone too far. We've not done better in writing Nollywood, because seeing the latest movies the writer of this movie had written, I would say we can still do better, because we've not done better in storytelling aspect. Yeah.
All right. No, thank you. I wonder if you're referring to Glamour Girls, because same writer, which is amazing. Something is afoot. All right. But next Sunday we might do Nolly fight. We'll see
if we can get fighters.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get fighters.
If somebody cancels, I'm not stepping in.
All right, but thank you guys for turning up. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for giving us time today. And we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at Iroko Critic and join us every Sunday 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.